Lieutenant Harris wins. The announcement cracked through the loudspeakers. I crossed the finish line on carbon fiber prosthetic blades, chest heaving. Behind me, 50 recruits, whole bodies, young legs, no scars, stood gasping, staring. These were the same ones who'd whispered the amputee at breakfast. The ones who thought I was here for inspiration, not competition. I caught my breath, looked them in the eyes, and said 6 words that silenced the entire academy. But before I tell you those 6 words, I need to take you back, because this story didn't start at a finish line. It started in Afghanistan, in dust mixed with my blood. The day where my legs used to be, only pain remained. July 27th, 2018. Kandahar, Afghanistan. 6 in the morning. The sun hadn't risen yet, but the air was already preparing for scorching heat. I was on routine patrol with my 12-person unit, 8 months into my 3rd tour. I knew this job. Lieutenant Sarah Harris, 28 years old, infantry officer. My team trusted me because I brought them home. Every time. I'd never lost anyone. That morning was supposed to be the same. At least that's what I thought. Sergeant Cole walked point, sweeping the ground with his metal detector. I was in the middle, radio on my back. Private Martinez at the rear. Look out. Standard formation. We'd done this hundreds of times. "Lieutenant," Cole called out. "Something's off here." I walked toward him. 2 steps. The 3rd step. "IED! Get down!" The words barely left Cole's mouth before the world turned white. Sound disappeared. Then pain. White-hot, screaming pain where my legs used to be. I looked down once. Once was enough. Below my knees, nothing. Just shredded fabric, bone, and blood. So much blood. My life pouring into Afghan soil. "Harris! Harris, stay with me!" Cole was beside me, wrapping tourniquets, screaming into the radio. "Medevac! Now!" Shock wrapped around my body. I didn't feel pain, just cold, and a strange calm. "My legs," I whispered. "Shut up, Lieutenant." Cole's eyes were wet. "You're going home. Trust me." I closed my eyes. When the helicopter rotors came, I heard Cole's voice. "Don't leave me, Sarah. Don't leave." I didn't. But that day, a part of my 28-year-old life stayed in that soil. 3 days later, I woke up. White ceiling, beeping sounds. Antiseptic smell. My mother sat beside me, holding my hand. "Mum," I tried to speak. Her eyes opened, full of tears. "Baby, you're here. You're safe." "My legs." "I know," she said softly. Nodded. "I know, sweetheart." I looked at the blanket. It lay flat, empty space below my knees. It was real, not a nightmare. When the doctor entered, he was young, empathetic but professional. He gave me the facts. "Lieutenant Harris, you lost both legs above the knee. We had to amputate to prevent infection risk. I'm sorry." "Sorry?" The word hung in the air. "Can I walk?" I asked. He hesitated. "With prosthetics, maybe. But it will never be like before. Active military duty is likely not possible. I apologize. Never be like before." The words felt like a sentence. My mother squeezed my hand. "You're alive, Sarah. That's what matters. But if I was alive, why did I feel dead?" The first 3 months were dark. Not just physically, but mentally. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. Couldn't see the pity in visitors' faces. Cole came. Martinez came. My whole unit came. But I could read the look in their eyes. Poor Sarah. Her career is over. One night, after my mother fell asleep, I lifted the blanket and looked. The stumps, bandaged, red, ugly. They weren't mine. Parts of a body I didn't recognize. I cried. For days I cried. The psychologist came. PTSD, depression, trauma. These are normal. We need to talk. Will talking bring my legs back? I asked bitterly. No, she said calmly. But it will bring you back. I didn't believe her, but I had no other choice. 2 months later, the prosthetist came. A young woman, Dr. Lisa Chen. Lieutenant Harris, it's time to fit your prosthetics. She showed me 2 pieces of metal and carbon fiber. Cold, mechanical, alien. These are my legs, I asked. These are your beginning, she said. In time, we can transition to running blades. But first, we need to learn to walk. The first time I wore the prosthetics, I fell. The second time, I took 3 steps and fell again. The third time, 5 steps. Every step was a victory. Every fall, a failure. This is impossible, I screamed one day, after falling again. Dr. Chen crouched beside me. Impossible is easy to say. Learning is hard. I'm a soldier. Soldiers run. I can't even walk. Yet, she said. You can't walk yet. That word yet was something. Not hope, but challenge. For 6 months, every day, 5 hours of physical therapy. It was painful. Not just physically, but emotionally. My physical therapist, Marcus, a former Marine, showed me no mercy. One more step, Harris. I can't. Can't doesn't exist. One more step. I fell. 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. But each time I got up. Because Marcus expected me to. He didn't laugh, didn't pity, just waited. One day I took 10 steps, then 20. Then I walked to the end of the corridor. Marcus clapped. That's it. That's a soldier. That day, for the first time, I could look at myself in the mirror. I still looked strange, but I wasn't a stranger anymore. 9 months later, Dr. Chen brought me a surprise. These are for you, she said. Carbon fiber running blades, the kind Paralympic athletes use. I'm not an athlete, I said. You weren't, she said. But you could be. The first time I wore running blades, it felt strange. I had no feet, just C-shaped carbon fiber springs. But when I stood up, something changed. On my first step, I felt lightness. On the second, a rhythm. On the third, I ran. Just 3 steps. But I ran. Marcus smiled. Keep going. 5 steps. 10. Then I fell. But this time I fell smiling. Again, I said. And I ran again. A year later, I ran my first mile. 1.6 kilometers. On full prosthetic legs. When I reached the finish line, tears came. But this time not from sadness. From freedom. Marcus stood beside me. How do you feel? Like myself, I said. For the first time, like myself. That day, a thought formed in my head. Small, crazy thought. Marcus, I said. I want to go back to the military academy. As an instructor. No, I said. As a candidate. His eyes widened. Sarah, you're already a lieutenant. Why? Because I need to show them that losing your legs doesn't mean losing your spine. I wrote a petition to military command, asked for permission to retake physical tests, to return to active duty. Rejection came. Lieutenant Harris, due to your condition, you are not fit for active duty. Rejections continued, 3 times, 4 times. But I didn't give up. Finally, a General Patricia Rodriguez, called me to her office. Lieutenant, she said, why are you so persistent? Ma'am, I'm still a soldier. I may not have legs, but I have heart, mind, spirit, and they were never amputated. She looked at me for a long time, then nodded. I'll give you 1 chance. Pass the physical tests at the academy, every single one. Then we'll talk. Yes, ma'am. As I left, she called out, Harris! Ma'am! If you succeed, you'll make history. When I returned to the academy, everyone stared. 50 recruits, fresh faces, whole bodies. Some were curious, some pitied, some dismissed. One recruit whispered, "An amputee. What's she doing here?" Another, probably giving an inspiration speech. I ignored them. Because I didn't have time to talk. I had time to show. First test, 5-kilometer run. Had to finish under 29 minutes. We stood at the starting line. The drill sergeant looked at me. "Lieutenant, are you sure?" "I'm sure, Sergeant." "Are you?" He smiled. "All right. Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1. Go." First kilometer, I fell behind. Second kilometer, I was mid-pack. Third kilometer, I started catching up to the front runners. Fourth kilometer, I passed them. Last kilometer, only 3 recruits were ahead. But I was accelerating. My prosthetics found their rhythm. My breathing steadied. And in my head, one thought. Show them. Show yourself. Last 200 meters, I passed all 3. Finished first. Time, 27 minutes, 43 seconds. I stood at the finish line, hands on my knees, gasping. Behind me, 50 recruits stared in shock. The sergeant came to me. "Lieutenant." "Damn. What's the next test, Sergeant?" I asked. The next 3 months were hell. Every day, a test. Push-ups, sit-ups, obstacle course, shooting range, tactical simulation. In every test, they watched me. Recruits, instructors, even other officers. Some wanted to see me succeed. Some wanted to see me fail. But I passed every test. Because I wasn't just doing this for myself anymore. I was doing it for every amputee soldier in the world. Every disabled athlete. Everyone who'd been told you can't. One night at unit dinner, a young recruit sat beside me. "Lieutenant, can I ask you something?" "Ask? Aren't you scared?" "Of what?" "Because you've already lost so much. What if you fail?" I looked at my prosthetics, then at him. "Fear doesn't come from what you've lost. It comes from what you never tried." That day, something changed in his eyes. Not respect, understanding. The final test was the academy's toughest. 15-kilometer terrain run, 20 kilos tactical load, obstacles, water crossing, rope climb. At the starting line, 50 recruits lined up beside me. This time, they looked at me differently. No more pity. Respect. The drill sergeant announced, "All right, everyone. This is the final test. Finish it. Finish with your team." Go! First 5 kilometers, I kept pace. Carried the load. At the water crossing, I worried my prosthetics would get wet. But they held. At the rope climb, I hesitated. I had no legs. How would I climb? But then I remembered. Not legs. Arms. Upper body strength. Hand over hand, I climbed. My muscles burned. But I reached the top. Last 3 kilometers, I was in front. One recruit ran beside me, stuck in mud. I stopped. Extended my hand. "Come on. We'll finish together." He looked at me, shocked. Then took my hand. We ran together. We crossed the finish line together. When results were announced, the entire academy gathered. General Rodriguez stood at the podium. This class showed exceptional performance. But one person redefined limits. She looked at me. "Lieutenant Sarah Harris. Passed all tests. Didn't just pass. Came first." Applause erupted. But it wasn't just polite applause. It was real, loud, respectful. But then the general continued. "And now there's one final test." Everyone fell silent. "Tomorrow morning 0600. Entire class 10-kilometer race. Winner receives the honor award. Any volunteers?" I raised my hand. "Me." 50 recruits looked at me. Some smiled. Some hesitated. One recruit, the fastest runner, Jim Peterson, stood up. "Ma'am, I volunteer too." The general nodded. "Excellent." Tomorrow morning, the entire academy will watch. That night, I couldn't sleep. I checked my prosthetics, adjusted my straps, prepared mentally. Marcus called. Ready? I don't know, I said. Good, because if it were easy, everyone would do it. Morning 0600. The entire academy gathered at the track. Recruits, instructors, officers, even press showed up. At the starting line, 50 recruits, and me. Jim stood beside me. Lieutenant, I respect you, but I'm winning this race. I smiled. May the best win. The starting gun fired. First lap, Jim was ahead. I was fifth. Second lap, I moved to third. Third lap, second. Fourth lap, I was beside Jim. We were both gasping. Tired yet, Lieutenant? He asked, grinning. Are you? I countered. Final lap. Last 400 meters. Jim was ahead by 2 meters. But I wasn't done yet. Last 200 meters, I accelerated. My prosthetics hit the ground. Rhythm perfect. My breathing hurt. My muscles burned. But in my mind, a voice said, this is your fight. Win it. Last 50 meters, I caught Jim. We ran side by side. Last 10 meters, I passed him. I crossed the finish line first. Lieutenant Harris wins. The announcement echoed through the loudspeakers. My chest heaved. Hands on my knees, couldn't breathe. I looked around. 50 recruits, standing, applauding. Real applause. Not pity, respect. Jim came to me, extended his hand. You're a legend, Lieutenant. I shook his hand. So are you. Good race. Then General Rodriguez came to me. Lieutenant Harris, she said, extending the microphone. Would you like to say something to this academy, to these recruits? I took the microphone, looked at the entire academy. Hundreds of pairs of eyes focused on me. I took a breath and said those 6 words, legs don't run. Faith runs, courage runs, silence. Then applause, loud, shattering, emotional applause. And in that moment, I understood. I hadn't just won a race, I defeated an idea. After the race, General Rodriguez called me to her office. Lieutenant, I'm nominating you for promotion. You'll become captain. Ma'am, thank you. But there's a condition. Ma'am, I want to assign you to a new program. Rehabilitation and reintegration of disabled soldiers. You'll lead it. My heart raced. Ma'am, I'm a leader, but I have no experience in this field. You're wrong, she said. You lived it. That's what experience is. From that day, my life changed. I wasn't just running for myself anymore. I was running for hundreds of amputee soldiers. I founded the program. We called it the Phoenix Project. First year, we helped 20 amputee soldiers. Second year, 50. Third year, 100. We didn't just find them prosthetics. We found them hope. One day, a young soldier, Private David Kim, came to the program. He'd lost both legs, just like me. Captain, he said, eyes empty. I'm done. My life is over. I showed my prosthetics. See these? Yes. These aren't my limits. These are my tools. And they'll be yours too. 3 months later, David ran his first mile. 6 months later, he entered a 5K race. A year later, he participated in a marathon. And with every step, he smiled. 2 years later, I got an offer. USA Paralympic team. 100-meter sprint. Captain Harris, would you be interested? My first reaction was to refuse. Because I'm a soldier, not an athlete. But then I thought, how many people will watch me? How many disabled children, youth, adults will see me and think, I can do it too. I accept. Tokyo 2020. Postponed to 2021. Paralympic Games. 100-meter final. 8 athletes, 8 countries. I stood at the starting blocks. My heart pounded. But this time not from fear. From excitement. The gun fired. I ran. Every step was a victory, every second a miracle. I crossed the finish line second. Silver medal. But I didn't look at the rankings. I looked at the crowd. Thousands of people, standing, applauding. And in the front row, Marcus sat, crying. "I'm proud," he shouted. Cole's visit. After the Paralympics, I had a visitor from my old unit, Sergeant Cole. When I saw him, time stopped. That day in Kandahar, the man who saved me. "Cole," I said. "Lieutenant," he said, but his eyes were wet. "Sorry, Captain." We hugged. Long, tight, brotherly. "I watched you," he said. "Every race, every test. You're a miracle." "No," I said. "You're the miracle. You saved me. I just did my job." "So did I said. "Still doing it." He handed me something, a small box. "This is yours," he said. I opened it. Inside, my dog tags that I'd lost that day in Kandahar. "How did you?" "I went back," he said, "to the blast site, and found them. They belong to you." Tears came. For the first time since that day, I thought about the blast and cried. "Thank you," I said. "No," he said. "Thank you. You show me that losing doesn't mean ending." 5 years later, I was invited to the academy to give the graduation speech. I stood at the podium, looked at hundreds of young faces, future officers, future leaders. "Let me tell you a story," I said. 7 years ago, I lost my legs in Afghanistan. Doctors told me I'd never walk again. Soldiers told me my career was over. I even told myself I didn't know who I was anymore. But we were all wrong. Because I didn't lose my legs. I just changed the shape of my legs. And in that process, I learned more deeply who I am. I showed my prosthetics. These aren't my weakness. These are my strength. Because every day, putting them on is a choice. Standing up is a choice. Running is a choice. And you all will make choices every day. When you fall, you'll choose to rise. When you're afraid, you'll choose to move forward. When someone says you can't, you'll choose to say, "Watch me." There was silence. Then one recruit stood and applauded. Then another. Then all of them. Standing ovation. But this time not for pity, for inspiration. A month after the speech, I received a letter. Handwriting, childish but careful. "Dear Captain Harris, my name is Emma. I'm 12 years old. Last year I lost my leg to cancer. Everyone at school pities me. I pitied myself too. But then I saw you on TV. I saw you running. I saw you smiling. And I understood that I can run too. Now I walk with my prosthetic every day. Next year I'm entering a 5K race. You're my inspiration." "Thank you." "Emma," I cried reading the letter. Because this was it. This was the real victory. Not winning races. Giving hope to a child. I wrote back to Emma. "Dear Emma, you are my hero. Keep running. And one day, we'll run together. With love, Captain Sarah Harris." 6 months later, I went to Emma's first 5K race. I waited at the finish line. When I saw her, she was smiling. Tired, sweaty, but her eyes sparkled. When she crossed the finish line, I hugged her. "I'm proud," I said. "Me too, of you," she said. That day I understood. Legacy isn't medals. It's changing lives. Now, 10 years later, I look back. That blast didn't end my life. It redefined it. When I lost my legs, I thought I'd lost everything. But actually, I'd only lost one thing. The illusion of where my limits were. Because limits aren't in our bodies. They're in our minds. And minds can change. Today, I've helped hundreds of amputee soldiers, inspired dozens of children, and built a life for myself I never imagined. But most importantly, I proved to myself, legs don't run. Faith runs. Courage runs. And if you're reading this story, if you've lost a part of your life, physical or emotional, I want to tell you, you're not finished. You're just transforming. Stand up. Take one step. Then one more. And one day, you'll run. And I'll be at the finish line, applauding you. If this story touched you, share it. Think of a veteran, or someone who overcame their limits. And remember, the real obstacle isn't in our body, but in our heart. When we remove that obstacle, nothing can stop us. Subscribe for more inspiring stories. We rise together.